deep, deep dive into software testing for quality delivery. And before I go into what I'm going to present, I would like to do a brief introduction on what is software testing, how to ensure quality in products or quality in software, and what's the purpose? Why do we need to test um, a software? So, software testing is the process of evaluating a software application as a product to identify bugs and to ensure that the product meets the specified requirements of the software. And purpose, when we speak on purpose, why do we need to test this product? What are we aiming to achieve? We need to ensure the quality, and we need to ensure that the software is reliable, and we need to ensure that it's actually secure before we release it to our end users. When we speak on reliable, we need to understand how the product should work. If we need to understand that, oh, the product should work as expected and there are no bugs before it gets to our end users, as our customers. And when we speak of high quality, we need to ensure that it meets requirements and it meets like a good user experience. So we need to ensure quality when delivering a product, and we need to ensure that um, the system is well functional, it's working as expected. Yeah. So yeah, that's um uh what software testing is all about. So let's go into types of software testing. When we speak of software testing, there are different types. We have the unit testing, we have the integration testing, and we have the system testing. Unit testing deals with where you're testing individual components, or we call it modules of the software. And integration testing needs you need to understand how the interaction between different components works in the system. System testing has to do with testing the complete software system as a whole. You're checking the UI, you're checking different aspects of the software. Again, before we dive into quality, we need to understand the fundamentals of software testing. And these fundamentals are the core principles that guide the process of ensuring the quality in a product. We need to have like a clear testing process. Yeah, we need to like follow some testing process. We need to like have a plan. We need to understand. You need to have a plan when you are testing a product. You need to create your test cases. Different scenarios. You need to do like a positive and negative testing. Understand how it should work, and do the next flow of what about things like if it doesn't work this way. So that you're going to like get um bugs, or let's say we're going to understand how the quality works. So when I speak of test cases, development and testing process, I've mentioned creating detailed test cases that covers the relevant scenarios. When you when you but first you need to understand um the business requirement document of what your software is talking about. You need to understand how the system should work. You need to understand the speed rate. You need to understand how it functions. Um, so yes, after understanding the document, it's very important that you define and you create detailed test cases. This helps to cover all relevant scenarios: the login, logout, forgot password. You as a tester, you need to understand what the product is about. So that will help you to create your test cases. After creating your test cases, you go into test execution. Test execution means you run the test cases and you document the results. After you create your After you create your case, test cases that covers all relevant scenarios, you execute, you run your test. So before when you go back to the document, this should there are some scenarios whereby I'm basically going to be like log in, log out, sign up, sign in. So all those things are very they are major functionalities in a software. So you need to like get familiarized on how your system, how your product should work. So if if you are done creating your test cases, how should login work? You go to your application, probably your application accepts capital letter and different special characters for password, and probably you just when I mean positive and negative testing, you're testing how it should be, and you're testing the negative side. So when you go to an application and you put in a password, but it is not passing what is required. That's what we call the negative testing. And by then you run your test cases and document your results. Or if implementing the password without special characters, does the system still allows it or it doesn't allow it? So is it that would understand what your product is all about? And thirdly, you need to understand that there are various test aspects of testing when it comes to quality of a product. They are functional and they are the non-functional testing. When we talk about functional, you need to verify that your software performs as expected based on the requirements or the document. That's functional testing. Non-functional testing, you need to evaluate aspects like the performance. How does it perform under 1,000 users? The payload, like network, how does it catch accepting different users? And it's, those are the other aspects of testing. So by understanding these fundamentals, you can effectively contribute to the development of delivering a high quality product to your users and customers. Yeah, we have testing principles. These are the guidelines that will help ensure that your software is thoroughly tested and it meets the quality standard. One, you need to understand, you need to establish quality standards. You need to define clear quality criteria and objectives for your software. You need to you need to evaluate the software and ensure that everyone has understanding of what should be expected as a tester, like how the quality of the product should be, and you need to have a structured comprehensive coverage. You can use Excel sheets to document your test cases. You can use Jira. Yeah, most professionals use Jira, whereby you can use to like track your bugs and assign to the developer that is meant to work on it. So by having a structured testing process is going to like help in delivering it's going to help in delivering the quality product. So when you ensure that your testing is thorough and it is efficient, it helps avoid dips in coverage and ensures that all critical aspects of the software are tested. So that's why I mentioned using a test management tool to track test cases and to track your progress. Your test case design as well, your testing when you document your test cases and test scenarios, it will help as well. You can also attach images, screenshots when you're doing your testing for a product. Um, yeah, so these are what testing principles talks about to ensure quality standards and to ensure that your test cases uh covers the whole what your product is about. Your test scenarios, it covers everything, and it helps to ensure traceability, whereby you can link test cases to requirements and to maintain. So you need to like link them together, share screenshots, put links to what you are documenting. This will help to deliver a quality product. Testing life cycle. When we talk about testing life cycle, this is also another stage of software testing. This phase covers when you create your test cases and whereby when you report what you have achieved, what you have tested so far. The first phase for every tester is always to like understand the product, do your manual checks before you go into using automation tools to run the test script. Yes, so firstly you need to thoroughly understand the requirements of the software that needs to be tested. It involves analyzing your user story, functional specifications, your design document, ensure that what the designer has tallies with what has been implemented. So these are relevant documents that you need to like look out for when you want to when you want to when you are when you want to test your product. So you need to understand the BRD, business required document. You need to understand the design. You need to understand what we are testing. It covers user stories, functional specifications, and all. So this will give a clear understanding of what the software requirement or the roadmap for testing. Secondly, you need to have a comprehensive test strategy on your schedule. Mentioned that earlier, whereby you create your test cases, you develop detailed test cases that covers all the requirements, all the test scenarios that need to be covered in the product. So that's very important. You need to define your test environment. As a tester, there's always the test environment um we check before it gets to the production. That's where users use. So you need to ensure that what you're testing is what it meets the customer's needs and is what is expected of the software. So yeah, having a comprehensive test plan and implement the test cases and record results as well. It's for you to do a screen record of what you're testing. It's for you to use tools like Selenium. Selenium runs playback to whereby you can record and share with the developer. You can also use tools like Opinion for mobile testing. There are also mobile extensions that we can use for testing. You can attach to your Chrome browser and you can use for different mobile views. So this implementation will help and it will ensure that what you're testing is a well quality product. Yeah, so we are done with that phase. Um, we need to move into automation in software testing. When we speak of automation comes in after you are done with your manual process, whereby you've achieved and the product is well stable to some extent, and automation saves time. It's not like the way we spend much time on manual testing, because manual testing you might not really catch up some code error. But if you run automation, you can use Cypress, you can use Selenium to, but you need to familiarize yourself with these tools and look out for what is best for you, what you can use. There are different clever tools in QA industry today. So just if you are new to software testing, you can check videos online, learn how to test. But the main important thing is for you to, look into the manual phase and understand um understand what your product is about, understand what you need to test, and have a comprehensive test cases whereby you can use to like analyze your test results and share with the developers. So yeah, benefits of test automation. It helps to it runs faster and is more efficient than manual test. So you need to learn how to run test scripts. You can learn different code languages. You don't have to really like you don't have to be 100% learning the code language, but know the basics. Know what you are doing when you need to test. Know what you are causing in the test cases. You need to understand how to go about using the automation tool. Yes, it's very, very important that you get as a tester you familiarize yourself with either Selenium, either Cypress, anyone that works for you. But for me, I use Cypress, and as it's really effective once your product is much stable to some extent. You just run the way you have your test script. You just run how the steps. Just put in your test script, and it runs and you're going to see a clearer result. You're going to see that there are some results you might not see in the manual testing, but you can see some where some codes are failing, and you know it's more efficient than the manual doing manual testing. But before we go into automation, always ensure that your product is much stable to some extent. So as a tester, it's very important that you get familiarized with using automation tools. Yeah. Secondly, it improves accuracy. Um, it gives accurate results, whereby when you run your test script, you would see on any tool you are using. You're going to see how where the error is coming from. You're going to see what's the word? You're going to see that it's going to show you um the errors that are flagging from your system that you as a tester you've not even seen when you use your manual testing. So yeah, it's more efficient with accuracy, and it also um it also reduces cost. Uh yeah, in the long run, reduce cost, and for you going through the manual phase, once you are very good with running your automation, you just rerun the scripts over and over again. And if there are changes in your code from a developer or something that's been broken, what you just do is just go back to your you need to familiarize yourself with Visual Studio Code, VS Code, whereby you can run your automation as well. It works with Cypress, it works with Selenium. Yeah, so that's benefits of automation. So we go to the next one. Yeah, I mentioned the tools that you can use. You can use Selenium. You can use Selenium. It works for web automation. Cypress also works for web automation. Opinion also works for mobile platforms. You can as well install extensions. Yeah, there are mobile extensions that they are good for different mobile views that you can use to run your test. Um, Implementing automation. When do you implement? You need to know as testers when to implement. Can everyone hear me? Someone speaking. Okay. So you need to know when to implement test automation. Um, if you find yourself manually running the same test over and over again, like I said, automation is a clear win. It helps to save time and it reduces the chances of errors that you might not see from the manual testing. Also, regression testing. Regression comes in when um probably your from whether there's a bug and the developer like fixes the bug. That's when you need to run regression testing. You need to ensure that what has been fixed um affect doesn't affect some functional stability that's been on the system. So you need to ensure that you run regression testing as a tester. It helps to it helps to ensure quality of the product as well. Um yeah, um yeah, it should be continuous continuous development. It allows for frequent and automated testing of code changes. Probably there's a change in your code. So yeah, that's when this comes in. Is this when you integrate automated testing. So this also helps to ensure faster delivery of high quality of the software. Um, Agile and DevOps and testing. So when we speak of Agile and DevOps and testing, we are we are looking at early defect detection, ensuring that we are fixing the early development stage of testing, and also you need to test frequently um, throughout the development phase. You don't have to wait till product gets to the testing phase before you need to test the product. So that's when, you know, instead of waiting till the end of development cycle, that's the FDL stage, development cycle, and you need to ensure that your testing is integrated early and, you communicate with developers, communicate with engineers, work together to ensure that what is being implemented is is um what we have, and if there's a need to fix any issue, it's still in the development cycle before it gets to the testing phase, and that's going to be like uh, another strain. It's going to be very strenuous if we don't you know test in the development phase. So yeah, this this is another testing approach. You need to identify and fix issues during the development phase, like I said, and you need to integrate automation, and also you need to collaborate with developers, ensure that what you have reported is being fixed, and ensure that you run regression testing. If after a fix has been done, you need to like take the whole system again to ensure that what has been integrated does not affect any other thing. So yeah, communication really helps and is very important as a tester that you collaborate with developers, and you are engaged in the development process of the product before it gets to the testing phase. And yeah, this would help in delivering a quality product if you understand the BRD very well, the business requirement document. If you get familiarized with using different testing tools, just keep learning as a learner. You cannot be perfect like this. So you keep learning, and also you need to understand how to test APIs as well. API is using Postman. So tools like this will help, and it will help in delivering a quality product. So it's not just about finding bugs, but it's about ensuring the quality and ensuring that users are satisfied with the product. That's the success of any software. If your customers or your end users are well satisfied with the product, that's the success of product that has been tested. Yeah. So in conclusion, we need to embrace continuous testing, and we need to build a culture of quality at testers. Ensure ensure that you are testing thoroughly. Ask questions when you need to ask. If you don't understand it clearly, always go back to your product managers. Always ensure that um you're getting clarity. There's no question that is a dumb question as a tester. You ask the question, and if you're not still being clear, ask again. It helps. You might not know that you are learning. You are also learning at that phase. Again, we need to um get familiarized with testing tools. Testing tools, especially when it comes to automation. Um, the world we have today is not just about manual testing, although manual testing is very essential. So again, automation is more faster, and once you're able to like have your test cases and you know how to execute them, you also like know how to run them using PS Code or with any tool with anyone that works for you. This is going to like help us to ensure that the product meets um high standards and it exceeds our expectations. So quality is not just about finding bugs, it's also about building confidence and trust with our software products. Thank you for your time.